am Sheila Roth, head of clinical education from Pearl. Excited to be here. Also a hygienist, but really by heart, a love of practice growth. So enjoyed working with practices throughout the years and excited to hear from Lacey. I'm going to introduce Lacey Phillips this evening. She has been a powerhouse in dentistry since 1992, working every
Okay.
role in the dental practice. Sorry. And that's actually fantastic. From a chairside to business office leader to managing high-end cosmetic practices with 40 to 50,000 treatment plans, which were the norm. That's incredible. And since 2008, she's really kind of taken her expertise to teach the rest of us, share with what she's done in her life, and see how we can benefit from that. Speaking on the national stage, major dental conventions and study clubs across the country. As the founder of Practice Dynamics, Lacey's known for really taking her real world experience, business metrics, which we all enjoy sometimes, team development and technology into real practical strategies that drive measurable growth. Her mission is simple: help dental teams build balance-driven success through strong systems, empowered teams, and visionary leadership. So when we choose who we're having on our webinars at Pearl, we're very selective and we want to bring to our dental space, topics that are going to resonate and that you can walk away. So I'm really exciting. I am exciting. No, I'm really excited to have Lacey here tonight. Please join me in welcoming Lacey. And Lacey, start us off.
Well, that's a pretty amazing introduction. You did a little bit of research there, which I love. I might have to start taking you with me when I go speak places and let you do my introductions for me. Thank you
Perfect.
so much for inviting me. Of course, Pearl is absolutely on my top three technology companies that I love to work with. Love what Pearl is doing and everything that it's offering. Of course, I've been a huge fan for years now when it was just clinical, and super excited that it's moving into the business realm as well. And of course, there are a ton of questions anytime it comes to AI. But tonight we'll specifically take a look at that practice playbook. Really, we're talking about three things that are very different, but without them, the practice just doesn't function. And of course, the first one is leadership. Systems, which I love systems. We have to talk about it because we wouldn't have a dental practice without it. And then the team. And none of those things happen without the other. So it's an exciting place to be. Like Sheila said, I love questions. I view this as a conversation. So if you have questions about anything that we're talking about, raise that hand, type that question in. Sheila's going to read them and we will have an actual conversation about all this. So let's jump right in. Why do offices stall? We already have a question. Oh my God, I'm so excited. What is it? Hey,
We are,
Katie from Virginia. That's
yes,
awesome.
we
All right,
finally have someone telling us where they're from. So
perfect.
representing Virginia, yes.
And it's late there. So thank you for joining us, Katie. I appreciate that. All right, back to, oh gosh, we're going to just do this the whole time. I'm going to jump into this. You read it real quick,
I
Sheila.
will.
Why
Just,
do offices stall? And this could be the month for stalling, to be honest with you. Everybody gets excited towards the end of December because we're rounding out the year, we're finishing out a year. And then January brings new growth, new ideas, new eyes, and it's very exciting. And then February hits, and we forget our resolutions. We forget that one word now. We forgot our goals and our bonuses, and we're just once again trying to survive.
Mhm.
So, where do we fail with that? Well, one place we fail is the leadership gap. Leadership is not staying consistent. They're not holding us accountable and to our expectations and to our guidelines. The other place are those systems that we work so hard throughout the year to put into place. We kind of forget about them, right? We start forgetting about those systems and how we should be doing things. And again, there's nobody there to really hold us accountable or to say, hey, let's get back on track because we're all just trying to get through the day. All right, so we will go on to, so here's the framework for our playbook. Always starts with leadership, has to start with leadership. Sheila, you probably had this over the years with offices you've worked with. My favorite thing is when I'm working with a dentist and the dentist says to me, I really don't want to be a leader. I don't want to manage people. I don't want to be a leader. What I'd really like to do is just dentistry. And I get it. I get it. I've heard it, I've seen it, I've experienced it. I completely get it. What we have to understand is, sorry, you're the leader. Right? So
Yeah.
we coach and we learn. And worst case scenario is you're the leader up here, and we're going to find your next person in line that's really going to exude leadership. But guys, we have to have leadership, and hopefully it's closer to the top than your person who's down here doing sterilization. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm all for it. But then we're going to have to promote that sterilization assistant and get them leading the team, right? Then we have our playbook. We're going to talk. You're probably going to even have to slow me down, because when I start talking about SOPs and systems and the playbook itself, I go off on a tangent. This is, I guarantee you, everybody on this call right now and in America in a dental office has sticky notes, a composition note somewhere detailing how we do things. That's our playbook. Then when we have these two things, an excellent leader and this playbook that we can follow, we start enabling our team to be as successful as they possibly can, to give them the outcomes that they're looking for and that they desire. Let's be honest, teams desire that. And I say all the time, the more you read your books, the more you start leading, the more you empower people, the better you feel, the more you want to do it, and the easier it becomes. It's not something that all of a sudden you wake up in the morning and you say, I have to lead people today, but more you're excited to get in there and empower that team. So I encourage you to become that type of leader. So what does great leadership look like? I I've had people say I'm a boss. And then I've had people say I just like to empower people. I like to help them accomplish all of their goals. My ultimate goal is to truly help my team realize their potential and set a goal every single year on how we can be the very best that we can be. There's a big difference there. That's what leadership starts to look like. But in that, we need a clear vision, a clear mission that we can act on. Everybody needs guidelines and expectations, even adults, especially adults. We need guidelines and expectations. We've seen the chaos in the office and the drama in the office when we don't have it. And we need accountability. So once you give me my guidelines and my expectations, I do. I don't know about you guys, but if I'm losing weight, if I'm not picking up another glass of wine, if I need to go work out, I need somebody to hold me accountable. Sometimes I'm not the best person to hold myself accountable. I told you, Sheila, at the beginning of this, I said, can we have wine during this webinar? Could this be a sip and learn webinar?
Yes.
And she said, yes, she is not my accountability partner.
No, I'm not. I'm your fun partner.
Right, absolutely. Well, no wine yet, you guys. We'll do that afterwards. So we need that accountability partner. These are things that make a great leader. And you don't have to be verbose. You don't have to be loud about it. You don't have to be stringent and confining with it. One of the best things I've learned over the years is to ask questions rather than make statements. Going off just on a little bit of a tangent here with being a leader is, I personally don't like being told, right? But when you start asking me questions to get around, it's an understanding. What I'm ultimately trying to do is understand where you're coming from, why you did it that way, and maybe your way is actually better than the way we've been doing it. But I would never know that if I didn't ask the qualifying questions to get to that point. And I also find that leadership is diffusing situations
Mm.
rather than saying, you two stop acting that way, right? I don't care. You have to work together. You're going to get along with each other. But let's find out why. Like, why are we not getting along? Why is the culture not what we want it to be at this point in time, rather than just dictating what the culture should be every single day? So, leadership is so many things. And I think more than anything, it's not a title. And that's what I'm talking about. It could be the sterilization assistant. Your hygienist could be the best leader in the office. Your business team member might be the best leader. It's not a title, it's culture, it's attitude, it's understanding, and it's that wanting everybody to do an amazing job and for all of us to be the best that we can possibly be. So, also with leadership comes communication. I'm a huge fan of communication. I love me some communication. And I think in a dental practice, we especially need it. You know, in every dental practice I've ever been in the United States, there's that natural line. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, Sheila. There's a natural line between the front and the back.
Yes.
And when we call each other or when we call ourselves the front and the back, it has a tendency to really dig that line in the sand. And because we have these different areas in the office, we need constant communication. So leadership is not just saying things once, saying the vision, the mission, the guidelines, the expectations once and expecting everybody to get it. Communication has to happen every single day in the office. The annual communication starts with a strategic planning session. And then we look at quarterly, monthly, weekly, and even daily. So what does that look like? The annual strategic planning session is about a 4-hour session. It's out. We try to do it outside of the office if possible for no distractions. There's a ton of prep work that goes into this. How did we do last year? What were our expenses? Where do we want to be in 12 months from now, right? So we have to start building the plan at our annual strategic planning session. Now, how Bonnie and I like to do this, Bonnie is my better half of this business and my soul sister with Practice Dynamics, is we read a book, right? And it's The Wig. The Wig is the wildly important goal. You and your team are going to set your wig for the year. Wildly important goal. Perfect timing if you guys haven't done this yet, or if you've done it and as we listen tonight, you're like, oh, I think we need to tweak it. Perfect. Wildly important goal. So where do you want to be 12 months from now? Do you want to see growth? Gosh, I hope so. Every single office I hope is experiencing growth. Do you want to implement a bonus plan? Are your plans to maybe incorporate an associate or build your hygiene program? Right? So where do we want to be? Then what we're going to do is every quarter, we're going to set 3 goals to hit our wig. So every quarter, we're building the plan to get to where we need to be. Woo, I'm going crazy here. So that annual strategic planning session, we've got the wig and then our first 3 goals for the first quarter based on the wig. Does that make sense, Sheila?
Yep.
All right, perfect. So we're always keeping that in mind. I love it when we put the wig maybe in the employee lounge. I was told once that it's only an employee lounge if there's lounge chairs and a cake, which I felt like that was fair, but maybe not appropriate. So post your wig in the employee lounge. Everybody can see it. Then you're going to set those goals. Like I said, your quarterly updates are going to start with, and this is about a 2-hour meeting. Entire team is always involved, okay? This is about a 2-hour meeting. Very first thing you're going to do is, what's our progress? How did we do with those 3 goals? I'm also going to tell you guys, if you haven't read it yet, the law of diminishing returns. The more goals you make, the less likely you are to actually accomplish them. So 2 to 3 goals per quarter. I've been saying 3 because I like the number 3, but 2 to 3 goals per quarter. So in your quarterly sessions, what's our progress from those 2 to 3 goals that we set? What's our progress to our WIG? And then updates, okay, which is the same thing. And then we're going to set 2 to 3 more goals for the next quarter based off of our WIG. And we're going to assign this, we're going to have an agenda, we're going to have action items. When is it due? What should be due? And we're going to assign somebody to keep track of that for us. So those are our quarterly updates. Now we're going monthly. Now the monthly meetings, the monthly communication, this part's all about the team. I love me a good lunch and learn. Now, when I say lunch and learn, most offices are immediately going to go to inviting your reps in to tell us about the latest and the greatest. And that's all good and fine, but I have another idea. Hear me out here. You have 6 internal and 6 external. What does that mean? Your 6 internal lunch and learns are the team only, and each department gets their own lunch and learn. So, business team, you're going to educate us on all things business. What's new? What's going on? If you're an in-network provider, tell us what's happening with insurance. Explain to us why you need that darn PA and why it can't have a cone cut, right? This is also an amazing conversation about Pearl. This is how are we truly utilizing Pearl clinically, and then how does the business office utilize this amazing technology as well, right? So clinical team members, tell us what's your favorite thing to assist on? What's your least favorite thing to assist on? Why does it take an hour and a half to do a crown prep? What is the difference between a post and core and pins, right? Why do we sometimes recommend gold in the posterior of the mouth and force? So teach me, educate me, help me learn, and teach me the same verbal skills you're using, because the more I use, the more we all as a team use the same verbal skills, the more the patients trust us because they believe us, right? Hygienist, oh my gosh, this is the perfect time to explain to us a periodontal procedure versus a prophy, perio maintenance versus a prophy. Why? And what should I be saying as a business team member? What should I be saying to the patients when they say, just bill it out as a prophy, it'll be fine, right? Doctors, you get your own little lunch and learn. Tell us what's your favorite procedure. What do you love to do? What gives you energy? What makes you happy? And what absolutely sucks the life right out of you, right? We need to know that because we need to probably put less of that on your schedule. And nobody wants to do it crown at 4 p.m. I don't put it in the, if you love doing crowns or endo at 4 p.m., please put it in the chat right now because I disagree. Nobody wants to do that, right? We are all ready to go at 4 p.m. So those are our 6 lunch internal. 6 external, yes, bring your reps in. Better yet, start thinking marketing. If you guys have your favorite coffee shop that you go get your boost every afternoon, go on a field trip. Take the entire team. Go in, ask them. There is actually no better place to learn systems and an SOP than in a coffee shop. Think about the way we order. I need the size, whether it's hot or cold, then all of the extras, right? 15 shots, shaken oatmeal, no sugar, right? So all of the stuff that you get, there's no better place to learn a system than in a coffee shop. And then take it a step further and invite them to come take a tour of your dental practice. Now, maybe they don't need a dentist, but you might convert them, and they might know somebody, a family member, a dear friend, and they're instantly like, dude, this place is amazing. I love this place. I'm going there, right? So think outside the box a little bit. You have 12 of them. So 6 internal, 6 external for your monthly lunch and learns. It brings a little bit of fun to it as well. Then we're going to have our weekly communication. These are our weekly team lead meetings. Now, what do I mean by team lead? If you're a small practice, this may not work for you. If you have more than 2 employees at every department, this could work for you. So ideally, we have a hierarchy. I actually have a slide here in a little bit. I'll show that to you. But we have a hierarchy. You have your dentist, practice owner, maybe a practice administrator. You have a business clinical hygiene if you're a GP, right? Maybe you have a business lead, a clinical lead, a hygiene lead. Makes sense. This helps also with these doctors who don't love being in the thick of things. Our leads are. So everything starts at the top and trickles down, except for chaos and drama. It typically starts down here and trickles up. When you put leads in place, it stops all this. So our weekly team leads meet for 20-minute, maximum 30-minute State of the Union address. I even have an agenda here for you. So it's the doctor owner and all of your team leads. I like starting, tell me something good. And then how was past week, right? How is this next week? Are there any patients coming up that I should be aware of? Are any team members going to be out of the office? Am I going to see any new faces, right? And then let's talk. What's working well? What are our obstacles? And what needs to be reevaluated? So again, 20 to 30 minutes max State of the Union address. It's at this time, Doc, that you are sharing any pertinent information to your team leads. Your leads go back and share it to everyone else in their department. Also, team leads, when this happens down here, it should come to you first. You should try to resolve it, be the leader, ask the qualifying questions to dissolve it. And then hopefully all we have to do is tell Doc that it happened, but it's been resolved and we're good to go. So it's a great situation. There's your weekly communication. And then of course, you got to start your day off right, people. Now I have lots of offices who say, Lacey, I accommodate moms or dads that need to get the kids off. I think that's amazing. I love that. Still, you have to find 10 to 12 minutes every day for the entire team. And yes, the entire team has to be there and on time, prepared, ready to go. If you can't have an AM huddle, have it right after lunch. Every day, right after lunch, you mark off 15 minutes and you finish you huddle the afternoon and then the next morning. Okay. And again, I'm all for agendas. What's an agenda? It's an SOP. SOP is a standard operating procedure. These are my guidelines and my expectations and how I am ready for my day every single day. I am happy to share anything that you guys see on these slides. So my last slide, of course, will be my contact information. You can email me and say, hey, Lace, I need the team huddle. I need the team lead. I need you. I am here for you. I got you. All right. So that's how we're starting. That's how we're continuing. That's how we stay consistent with our communication. Annual strategic planning session, quarterly updates and new goals to hit our WIG, monthly lunch and learns where we're learning, we're educating, and we're creating empathy with one another. Our weekly team lead, okay? And of course, our daily huddle. Super important, super important. So then that's our leadership. So then what does a playbook look like? Oh, I got a question. I love questions. Yes, please. You got it. Alex, you email me at the end of this and I got you. I'll give it to you. Got you, boo. Okay, what is a playbook? A playbook is a document that describes operations. How do we do things? It's instructions, it's systems, it's procedures, how we set up, it's verbal skills, right? It's operations. It's an SOP, and an SOP is a standard operating procedure manual. Now, I have a lot of offices that say, hey, Lace, I have a handbook, and I am super proud of you for having a handbook. But a handbook is not an SOP manual. I want you to think, start when you pull into the parking lot in the morning. Where do you park? Which door do you go in? Is there an alarm system? What's the code? What do you do after you get through the alarm? Like literally walk through your day. every single process, procedure, operation of your day, all the way till you are walking to that back door, locking it down with the alarm code, and leaving for the night. It should be all of that, okay? And more. So, what does that look like? Well, I break it down into categories, and here are the biggest categories, right? Ownership should have a category. HR. Now, I recommend every single office in the United States have a legal HR manual that has guidelines or that has state laws, okay, and guidelines. The HR I'm talking about that you should have is how do we deal with conflicts? How do we deal with pay, compensation, CEs? If it's mandatory, we go. How do we deal with evaluations, right? That's all HR. What time are we supposed to be at work? If our first, how do people not know this, Sheila? How do people not understand this? If your first patient is at 8,
Yes.
you should probably be there at 7:30. We're going to have a huddle, if applicable, in the morning at 7:43. And then your patient should be in your chair, seated, ready to go at 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
How do we not understand that? I don't
No.
get it.
Yep. That's true because a lot of times we slide in as assistants, at 8, and then all of a sudden the doctor's sitting there going, "Where's the patient?" And the problem is, I didn't really see this until I moved to the front, but that really trickles down throughout the whole day, right? And it just starts off that bad feeling of,
Sure it
and we
does.
know that things happen, but it's important that what you stated, which is 8 means you're in the chair side. It doesn't mean you're clocking in at 8. And I think
That
that's
is correct.
important.
I do too. I think, and what is this? It's a guideline. It's an expectation. It's an
Did we
SOP.
lose you?
Oh no, really? Am I still here?
No, it's me. We lost me for a minute.
Oh, good. I mean, I don't want to lose you, but I feel like it wouldn't be appropriate to lose me. So,
I would agree.
I mean, you've got the slides. I guess you can keep going with it, but no, it's 100%. It's an SOP. It's a guideline. It's an expectation. Who carries it out? Leadership. Who holds people accountable? Team leads, right? And then we develop that culture. So I love this. Can a new team member follow it, repeat it, and be coached on it without confusion? Because ultimately, your SOP manual should be a training manual. So I loved what you said in the beginning. Doctors, if you had to be gone for 30 days, what the heck happens to the practice? Your SOP, your leaders, your self-driven team, hopefully you're holding down the fort for you. Obviously, we can't do actual dentistry. We can't do restorations. But depending on what state you're in, you might be able to hold up that hygiene department, right? So you've got your categories here of the different areas that you should have. What does that look like? I would start, it can be very, very, very overwhelming, folks. I would start with business team. Everything that happens in the business office. For example, your new patient intake, scheduling rules, presenting treatment, financials. Yes, we collect. Oh my goodness. Yes, you have to pay your bill. What is that in dentistry? I have yet to go to Sam's Club and they don't make me pay. I I don't get it. What is it in dentistry? We teach our patients how to treat us, right? And so I always say, assume they're going to pay, assume they're going to schedule. Like we're just going to go with that. We're going to go with it and it's going to work. The recare system. Then start your top priorities with clinical and hygiene. So how do you set up a room? How do you turn over the room? How do we handle x-rays? How do we handle people who don't want x-rays? And verbal skills. By the way, x-rays are a diagnostic piece of technology. It's the only diagnostic, well, one of the only. You have to diagnose your dentistry, folks. And one of the ways we do that is with our x-rays and then putting Pearl over the top of that to help us out a little bit. Right? So when a patient tells us, I'm not going to have x-rays today, well, guys, they're just setting you up for a lawsuit because that's a legality issue. But how do we as a team handle that? What do we say to them? How do we educate them? And what's the process for if they keep taking it too far? Who's charting? Who's documenting? When should those things be done? Before you leave for the end of the day. Um, Handoffs. Oh my God. Handoffs are my favorite things to do in the entire world. I love it when I'm in person with people. When I'm speaking from the stage, I will literally call people up there and go, let's do a handoff because the communication in a handoff will 100% create your success or break your success. And if you don't think it's true, ladies at the, maybe gentlemen at the business office, have you ever had a patient come up to your desk on their own with nobody with them? And they stand in front of you like this.
Yes.
And so you do the same thing, you go.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then you get to say,
is
so what they do to you today? Right. Or better yet, I love this when a clinical team member runs up to the business office and throws the chart and it kind of does the swirling thing, right? Super exciting. Same thing with dentists who enter an operatory and they have no idea what they're entering or who they're talking to or what's going on. Handoffs, got to have it. Needs to be documented. Verbal skills, how do we do it? When does it happen? All those good things. And then bring in the leadership and the team portion of this, which is your HR, which is your huddles, those meetings that we just talked about, right? Monthly trainings, keeping everybody up to date. What is my role in the office? And favorites, conflict resolution, correction, and feedback. By the way, I don't think it has to be conflict, Sheila. I just think it has to be a conversation.
Don't you think too, Lacey, and that's so well stated that I don't know about you. It feels like every time you get to the very bottom of what happened, it's always a lack of communication. And
100%.
so we wear like earpieces in my old office because the goal is if you're not over communicating, you're not communicating. But I think when you sit down with those two people and you finally figure out, oh, I didn't know you meant that. I thought you meant this. And it's really just communicating to your point.
100%.
Started.
100%. It doesn't have to be a conflict. It just has to be a conversation. Now, I'm not saying it's an easy conversation. Sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. But you just kind of got to lean into that and know that ultimately you both have the same end goal. First and foremost, it should be the patient.
Mhm.
Secondly, it should be the culture of the office, which then creates a great environment for you to work in. And
Mhm.
then you have great success, right? It doesn't have to be that hard. We just need to talk to each other. Now, where does Pearl fit into all of this? You guys don't ask me to do this. You never say, hey, talk about us. As a matter of fact, most likely you're like, hey, you don't have to talk about us. But Pearl is a big part of our SOP. It is a big part of our guidelines and our expectations. Quick little story. I have a dentist, a female dentist in Texas who hired a male dentist straight out of school. And she's coaching him, but she's also running a giant practice. And so they have Pearl. Her favorite thing in Pearl is the second look
Mhm.
because in the beginning, he had this major tendency to overdiagnose and to scare the patients. And his verbal skills were very like, you have to have this done. So she started using Second Look with Pearl, which enabled her to physically coach this assistant. Now, then what happened is he pulled way back. And he's like, oh, I'm not going to diagnose anything. So again, she's looking at Second Look, right? And she's able to use this technology to help him become more comfortable in what he's seen, but also to utilize the technology on what the technology is seeing, and then to be able to find the verbal skills and work on his bedside manner because the technology took the guesswork out of it, right?
Yes.
Which was amazing. Amazing. I love that. That should be a part of your SOP. It should be a part of How do we do things in the practice? And how do we utilize our technology? What's the steps? Just having the technology isn't enough. We've got to have the guidelines and the expectations on how do we use it and what are the procedures and what's the, if somebody, again, not wanting, if they're pushing back on diagnosis, on the technology, how do we handle that as well? What's your favorite feature of Pearl, Sheila?
For me, not only is the quick colorized pathologies for the doctors to move through the images faster, it's really when we turn on the tooth parts and we colorize the teeth completely and bring that into the chairside case presentation. That's where it's been a game changer for the patients. I think we all realize that when patients accept the dentistry earlier and more often, they have better patient outcomes, they're retained, they had a great experience, and they refer their family and friends. So, many times you see a patient and my doctor would say, Sheila, before I come in, I want to know what needs to be done, why it needs to be done, and where's this patient at? Meaning motivation, right? What, why, and where. And I would spend so much time explaining shades of gray that when
Mm.
Pearl actually came in and were able to stand next to the image and say, okay, so these are the areas of concern, I could stop talking and I could then have my patients ask the questions they need to be able to kind of
Love
overcome
it.
fear or, that's that pivotal moment. Do they trust us? Is there value? What are they worried about? That's been a big game changer for more patients to have more transparency. And I
Love
think
it.
that's my favorite is the colors and the chairside case presentation.
I love that you said you didn't have to spend as much time explaining the gray because see, when I was a chairside assistant, I spent a lot of time explaining the white because I had those cone cuts all the time. Oh, let's get to our team. We've got a little bit of time left here. Let's get to that self-directed team and how important it is to have the team because truly we wouldn't have a dental practice without it, right? So leadership is building a strong team. Leadership is building a team that is comfortable doing their job. I read a quote once. Oh, who was it? Oh, I should know this. But he said, we hire the very best. We work really hard at hiring the very best. Then we onboard them, new word in dentistry, we onboard them, give them their guidance, their expectations, their procedures, and then we let them do their job. Like, I love that. Let's hire well. Let's train and onboard and set ourselves up and set them up for success and then let them do their job. But part of that comes with making sure that they have job descriptions. I still to this day am shocked when I walk into a dental practice and nobody has job descriptions or titles. How do you know what to do every day? It's crazy to me. And everybody loves a good title. I mean, I'm still looking for the queen title. I'm still looking for the whole tiara thing. I am. And then we have to have those guidance, the guidance, the expectations. A scoreboard is nice. Everybody likes a scoreboard. People work better with goals. If you have a bonus system set up, good for you. Here's what I'm going to say because everybody works better with goals, right? And we all think people are motivated by money. That's not actually true. That's a whole nother course right there. It's not actually true. People are not always motivated by money. But here's what I mean by a scorecard and bonuses. Remember we talked a little bit earlier about the natural divide between the business office and the clinical part of the office, right? When we provide goals, bonuses only to one group of people, it really deepens that divide. It doesn't foster culture of a team or that we want to work together. My favorite is, Lacey, I get $1 for every new patient I book. And I want to say, well, don't you get a paycheck for that? I mean, I'm pretty sure that's just your job. I want rev share. I want when the practice is doing well, when all of the expenses are taken care of, when the practice is succeeding, the entire team succeeds. Because the fact of the matter is, it takes an entire team. It truly does. One thing can't happen without the other. A new patient can't be in the chair without us answering the call and scheduling that and doing the intake. The new patient doesn't get to hygiene without an exam from the doctor. So it truly does not happen without the team. So I am all for a bonus system that allows rev share when the practice is doing well. It's actually a scientific mathematical equation. Happy to discuss that with anybody afterwards if they want to, but it fosters culture. It fosters what we're looking for in teamwork rather than I gave fluoride, so I get more money than everybody else, right? It just doesn't give us what we're looking for. And then the other portion of this is training and onboarding and training. I have found over the years in dentistry, I've experienced it. One job, I got hired to be a chairside assistant. They were crazy. And I was supposed to work with the chairside assistant that was leaving for 2 weeks before she left. And I showed up day one and she was gone. She wasn't coming back. So what do? They throw you in a chair. This is what we do, regardless of the position. You get thrown in a rolling chair. Thank God for our rolling chairs in dentistry. Then they put something in each hand. So as a chairside assistant, you have a water gun and a vacuum. As a business team, you have a mouse and a phone, right? So as a hygienist, you have instruments and the suction tip. So we just kind of throw everybody in rolling chairs, fill up their hands and say, you go, you be successful. Let's reschedule the patient and collect their money. You got this, without any real onboarding or training. And then we wonder why people quit. We wonder why people are not happy. We wonder why there's chaos and there's drama and why we can't find anyone really good to hire. My guess is you can, you're just not onboarding and training correctly. Now we have a 30, 60, and a 90-day onboarding program, which includes training. I guarantee you, if you follow this, by day 60, you will know whether or not this is a good fit for your practice, which is ultimately what this boils down to, is whether or not people are a good fit. Now, here's that hierarchy that I promised you. Doctors, owners at the top, practice administrator, and then you have your business lead, your clinical lead, and your hygiene lead. Now, if you only have 2 people at the business office, certainly one of them can be a lead. If you only have 2 chairside assistants, certainly one of them can be a lead. And if you only have 2 hygienists, certainly one of them can be a lead. Now, if there's 5 people in the practice, you're all leaders. Good job. Be nice to each other. It's a nice little hierarchy. For larger practices, we even have, how do you start here? We have kind of a hierarchy in regards to responsibilities and pay. And how do you get to the next level, to the next level, to the next level? So it really lays things out nicely. Ooh, do you want to read that one?
Yeah, I do. So Katie, the hygienist joining us from Virginia,
Yes.
wanted to talk about a bonus structure, which is so valuable. We should just bring you back for a whole nother webinar because this one is really challenging. They've tried some things in the past. The doctor wants something that shows change instead of if we made goal, because he feels that was expected. But then they make the goal, all the systems running together. Your point, the team needs to be working together. She's in the leadership team, and he's always been open to incentives, but shuts down. So I finally just did a perio incentive for hygiene, but of course, it did hurt morals with the other parts of the team,
For sure.
hurt the morale. I think that's
So
so key. How do you handle that when you're trying?
absolutely. Absolutely. Again, I'm going to do it quickly. We have like 12 minutes and I still have some information, but I'm going to do this quickly for you, Katie. Also, I saw that Sheila put my email in there. Feel free. I'll set up a 30-minute courtesy conversation with you to go over this. But here's how this works. First and foremost, we have to know what are the expenses of the office, right? We have to know what is overhead. A typical overhead, a healthy overhead is 65% for GPs, okay? So we have to know what overhead is. That means how much, not only a percentage, but what are we producing? What are we producing to hit expenses. But it's not only producing, we have to then look at collections. A healthy collections ratio is 98%. That means you're collecting 98% of what is available to collect, not adjustments. This is net production. So if your collection ratio is 90%, I have to figure out what do you have to produce in order to collect 90%. And then what percentage of that is going to ROI, okay, to expenses. Then we figure out above and beyond that, how much, what are we looking at? We typically take about 20% and we divide it equally between full-time employees, and part-time employees get a portion of that. Now you could take it one step further and you could do 3-month average, so that if you have one bad month but 2 good months, you're still getting something. I actually have a spreadsheet and I have it all lined out, Katie. So any of you, feel free to email me later if you have additional questions. But again, what I'm looking at is rev share after all of the expenses are taken care of, and it's based off production, and then what do we need to collect in order to make it happen. Hopefully that makes some sense. It's a very fast explanation of our rev share program, but happy to explain it. Perfect. Look forward to hearing from you, Katie. All right. Now, as we're talking about the team, you cannot please everyone. You just can't. Especially in this day and age, it's getting harder and harder. You cannot please everyone. What I've also noticed is not everyone wants to be pleased. Not everyone wants to be in a great office with a great team, with great culture. However, like I said before, it just means this is a good fit for your team. That's all it means. It doesn't mean they're a bad person. It doesn't mean that you can't stand them, that you think they're terrible or they think you're terrible. You've created a culture. You've created teamwork. You've created an amazing office that provides the best quality care that you always knew you would provide to your patients. Because let's face it, anybody in our industry is servant by heart. Therefore, it is also your responsibility and your obligation to covet the culture, to covet those who have stood by you for years, who have the great attitude. We don't have to have bad attitudes. We just simply realize it's not a good fit for us. And we move on. Super easy to do, but it's our responsibility as leaders to get that done. It's a big part of leadership, right? And so leadership management, it's aligning our people. It is aligning the behaviors, the culture. It's making sure that the attitudes are there every single day, including ours, including our own attitude, making sure that when we walk through the door, we're here for patients. That means we're here for each other. We're going to provide the very best healthcare that we possibly can and serve our own hearts with this as well. And we just can't avoid anything else than that. It's neglect. Can't do it. So here's a quick, simple 30-day implementation plan for you guys. Number 1, audit your gaps. Have a quick team meeting. I love my team meetings. Have a quick team meeting. What do we have right now? What do we need? Right? Leadership, systems, team. What do we need? Here's what I typically do, folks, is take a piece of paper. Take a spreadsheet if you're a fan of the spreadsheets and put it into the categories, right? Ownership, HR, admin, business, which includes financial and insurance, clinical, hygiene, marketing, verbal skills. Start making a list. We do this. We have this. Maybe it's written on a sticky note. Maybe it's written on a composition note, but we have it. What don't we have that we're missing? Okay. And then you start documenting and write the top 5. Write the top 5 for each of those departments, for each of those categories. What do you have? Write it up. So how do we walk through the door in the morning? What's the alarm code, right? How do we send claims? How do we take x-rays? How do we utilize Pearl? So we're typing those up. Then we're going to start training each other, educating each other, coaching each other on how do these things work in the practice. Educate every single one of us. Make sure that we're all utilizing the same verbal skills. And then accountability. Make sure you're going to build your SOP manual. You're going to build your playbook. But in all of this as well, leadership and your team leads are stepping up and saying, okay, these are the things that we're doing. We're holding each other accountable. We're making this happen. And you'll feel those wins come every single week, every single day. You'll see the change in attitudes, and everybody's walking a little bit lighter because we know what we're doing, because it's documented, because we're all doing and saying the same things. And if I'm working at the business office and Mary has to leave for the day, I'm not stressed because I know exactly what she does and how to do it, and I can pick up the slack for her. No problem. Again, this comes down to leadership. It comes down to systems, guidelines, expectations, and it comes down to building, truly, truly building that winning team. Here's my contact information. I could do this for hours. I love doing this, but Sheila, thank you so much for having me. You know, I love this stuff. Anybody on here, feel free to reach out to me, ask me questions, ask me for my stuff, ask me for help. That's what we do. We coach teams across the United States. We work with them. We help build SOPs. As a matter of fact, we have a very comprehensive SOP manual. It's what we do. We love to help. And I appreciate all of you being here tonight.
So wonderful, Lacey. Those of you that are still with us, love to hear from you a little bit about some questions, some feedback. I'm going to share my screen as well here. Let's see. Just a second. I want to share one thing with you, but Lacey, for me, what was really interesting, you talked a lot about, which is the culture of the team. And one thing that I found in our practice very interesting was in reading some reviews, the patients were commenting about, I love this practice because they treat each other so well and it makes me feel very comfortable. And it's one thing I would bring up into a team meeting, which would be, you have no idea how much that makes a patient feel so much better. And that's a big win for teams. And we don't think about that all the time. Um, I think the other part here was when you were talking about expectations. And when you onboard people, one thing that people always laugh at me, but my motto was, you move them up or you move them out. And the main reason I said that was because when they onboard, if there's clear expectations, that's one thing. But if there's unconditional support, then they really are having the best time. They are moving up, they are doing more, they are learning more, they're getting along with their teammates, or they're just moving out. Like they will probably quit before you fire them, which we have to take some responsibility for if we're not onboarding properly and we're not supporting them properly. So I love your whole design here about annual, quarterly, monthly, weekly, and it feels overwhelming, honestly, if you're an office manager. But think about had we put this in in January, it's already March, and we would have probably had, you're saying 3 goals a month. That's really impressive. And the way you broke it down is really very helpful. So I want you guys to really reach out to Lacey, one of the funnest, most real humans that has that real life experience that can take your practice to that next level. We love Lacey. Also with Pearl, what our team has done is kind of tried to align with that patient experience, that whole workflow from phone call all the way through. And we know we're known for these x-rays. And this was the image we were talking about, which is where you turn these x-rays into color where they're patient friendly. They can see like this little area is moving into the green part of the tube.
Sheila, I don't see your screen. I don't know if the participants do, but let me stop my share.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
We want to make sure we can see my screen.
for sure. Stop share. Got it.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Of
Um,
course.
Now I'm not just talking to myself. So, yeah, these colors are great. So we were talking about what I love most about Pearl, and it's bringing these images into the operatory. And remember, this is real time. So you take a bite wing, and the next thing you know, the next X-ray's up with all of those pathologies. It's not to replace a doctor, obviously. But we go beyond the radiograph. Love for you to scan this QR code, set up a demo. But being able to look at how you take case presentation to that next level, right? The black and white images we were talking about, you show a patient an area of a cavity in between the teeth, and like a millimeter to two over, there's a perfectly healthy pulp. But we're telling them this is really bad. It shouldn't be gray, but this gray is okay, right? So when we can turn the color on, that's really the game changer. I love the cavity bugs. I think this is really fun that Pearl decided to move into the pediatric space and really made it patient friendly. I was talking to a doctor this morning and they were saying, we really want that for adults. So again, just something I wanted to share with you guys about how Pearl's moving into areas to remove blockages in the practice. This is one of them where the second you take the image, you're going to see that little, you know, yellow line. I say little because it's actually not, but reminding you, hey, just take one more real quick. And more importantly is for the patient, right? These root tips, this overlap. I remember I didn't get the distal of a molar one time, and it was a very good friend of mine. I'm like, oh, you're fine. We'll see you next time. There's a big cavity there. So these images are great, these reminders for you, as well as when you're going to submit a claim. Like, don't use this image, right? Because you're probably going to have a
Oh,
denial.
love that.
Your chart audits, let Pearl do them for you, your morning huddle, right? Every single provider has one. Instead of printing out 10 and everybody looking at them, each provider can walk in the door. So I just wanted to share with you guys today about kind of how we all struggle with the same things, whether you're, two doctors or 22 doctors. But at the end of the day, it's really about spending the time with those people in your practice. And Lacey, I'm so thankful that you spent time with us tonight, kind of breaking this down. And I know I'll see you soon, but thank you again for being here with us. And thank you to all of you that spent your evening with us. We look forward to seeing you on more webinars. And best of luck to all of you for this year. Take good
Thank
care.
you, everyone.
Bye bye.